Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. EQA Nostalgia here today to talk to you guys about what's been going on with H-Hour. There is some shit going on right now. I guess you'd call it a shitstorm, perhaps a shitnami. It could actually even be classified as a shit NATO, depending on how you look at it. Any way you choose to look at it on the shit analogy chart, shit has gone down. David Sears has stepped down from his position, and he is currently in an advisory role. Yeah, so people kind of put two and two together the other day. They're like, "Hey, has anybody heard from David Sears since I don't know, like fucking August or something like that?" And everybody's like, "Yeah, hey, that's it's a good point you raised there. I don't think everybody's heard from him for a while." And then everybody's going, "Hey, that's." I even kind of perked up on Facebook. I was in the H-Hour group. I was looking at the post, and I'm like, "Shit, I haven't heard from him in a while." I've been really busy, so I haven't spent a lot of time on the forums. I got to be honest. I've been a little out of the loop. I do keep up a little bit, but yeah, I got onto Facebook after work, and people were talking about it. I'm like, I haven't heard from him in a long time. And then some people started saying, "Well, what about that position they had opened up for like a programmer? I can't remember, lead programmer or something." Somebody's like, "Holy shit, maybe that was David Sears when he stepped down. He might have stepped down way back and nobody told us." So everybody started to panic. I panicked too. I was like, "What the fuck? What am I going to tell?" I believe my initial response, because I can't go check because I was banned from the group, which is really funny to me. But I'll talk about that in a minute. Anyway, my initial response is what the fuck am I going to tell my subscribers? David Sears is missing in action. This is bad. He's the main guy, right? I mean, he's the reason why everybody put their money down. I mean, he's the reason why I put my money down. I saw David Sears. I saw what he had said about the game. And then later on, Russ Phillips was brought in. I'm like, this is awesome. This is a done deal. We've got a dream team here. Everything's going to work out. So, everybody was really mad because nobody was saying anything. And I think the post had been up for like 24 hours. People were saying Tom came in and read it. And he wasn't saying anything. Nobody was saying anything. And transparency is something that people come to expect now. If this was like a AAA development studio, they'd just be like, "Fuck you, shut up, we're doing what we're doing." But we expect transparency, mostly because we donated, or pledged, rather, on the Kickstarter. I think some people take it a little too far. I think some people think they got stock in the fucking company. they wanna run the show because they put down money. That's not the way it works. But I do understand the attachment that people have to this game, and they feel that they have more rights. Rights to know at least what's going on. I feel that way as well. I think there should be a level of transparency, but I'm not Tom. This is just kind of like a mess of stuff going through my head right now. It's not really organized, so I apologize for that. But, yeah, people are mad at Tom right now because they're saying, "Well, how come you didn't say anything?" People are mad at David. How come David Sears didn't come out and say anything? There's a reason for it. And to me, it's obvious that they didn't want to start a panic, and they just wanted it to be something that was low-key, and let's just get this done. That's the obvious reason for me why they would do that. Why wouldn't you say anything to your community? Because you don't want them to back out. You don't want them to be worried. And you just want to get this shit done. I mean, at this point, SWF Studios just wants to, because we're so close to this being ready for early access, they just want to get it done. So I can understand what they were doing. But at the same time, it does piss me off. I would have liked to know about this, have known about this before. And we've seen other community members leaving. I believe Pink left. I'm not sure if Rosie left. Like I said, I haven't really been in the loop too much. Animal just stepped down, one of the moderators. Really, really good moderator. I've always liked him. So it sucks to see him go. I think for a while there, people were worried about Kevin leaving, and then Kevin came back. I'm not sure about the details. I remember that whole debacle. But apparently Kevin is now back, or he hadn't left in the first place, and he's going through with everything. And Russ Phillips is currently working on the second map. And Russ has assured everyone that even though David has stepped down, he's still very much in the loop on everything, and he's just acting like a consultant. Now, my take on this is that there's not a whole hell of a lot of money going around. We don't know who funded the game up to March. Apparently, that's when it's been funded. Up to that point, we don't know who did that. It probably came out of Tom's pocket or somebody within the studio's pocket. So there's not a lot of money going around. So right away, you have to understand this is not your typical development where you can pay someone to sit around and just kind of hang out and advise things. I think maybe David did everything that he really could do, and at this point, he needs to move on, possibly for his own financial purposes, which that's kind of the way the world works. If you're not making money, you're not paying your rent, you're not eating, and you're fucked. So he probably moved on to something else, but he wants to stay in an advisory role. And also, part of me thinks that what little money is left, he doesn't want to sit there and soak it up. He'd like it to get kicked down to Russ and Kevin. This is just speculation. I don't know shit, okay? I don't know any more than the average guy knows. All I know is that makes sense to me, because if he trained Kevin in the ways of the Master Jedi, and Kevin has graduated from being Padawan, and he's now, he's a full-on Jedi himself, and the Force is with him, everything should be good. I mean, I'm mad that nobody said anything. I'm mad just like everybody else is, but I'm not flipping out. There's a lot of people that are losing their shit, and I can understand that initial reaction, but once you get past that, you need to just kind of settle down. And I know people are going to hate on me for this, and I've gotten hate for this for a couple of days now, telling people everything's going to be okay, and they're like, oh, you're just a nut hugger. You're just nut hugging on David Sears and fucking fanboy, whatever. You can call me whatever you want. I've been in this for just as long as anyone else has. I remember when there was a little bit word of mouth going around about, oh, there might be a SOCOM game coming out, spiritual successor. I was there over a year ago. I've been making videos. I'm invested in this shit just like everybody else is. I've put down some money on it. I only put down 50, but god damn it, I spent hours and hours making videos and trying to spread awareness, and I'm watching everybody panic, and they're running around with torches and pitchforks, and they're like fucking rabble, like like that South Park episode. And they're creating something that is not good. You know what I mean? They're spreading negativity and cynicism, and part of me understands that feeling, but another part of me knows that that's bad. You can't, you will not get your game if that continues. Like, fucking forget about the fact that everybody's worried that the game might fall apart because David Sears isn't in the seat anymore. If people continue to flip shit and just run this through the mud, one of two things is going to happen. Either anyone who might possibly be interested in putting this on PlayStation 4 or funding it in the future is going to go, what the fuck? No way. Or Tom is just going to go, you know what? Fuck you guys. I'm shutting this down. Because there's some nasty shit people are saying. I mean, some of the stuff I read is just downright brutal, I'm not going to go through it here. I'm not going to say the stuff people have been saying. Not the extreme stuff. You guys get enough swearing from me as it is. But I myself have have gone off the deep end in arguing with people. And there's this one guy I argued with. I don't even remember his name. Just some random douchebag who doesn't even have a voice as far as I'm concerned in this community. Apparently he's an admin of the H-Hour group that was on Facebook, and I got into it with him because he's like, oh, well, fuck David Sears, and I wish I never put any money down on this shit, and he's just going off the deep end. Next thing I know, I'm arguing with him, telling him, dude, relax, cry me a fucking river kind of thing. I was firing back at him like, you need to just stop, like right now, because you're being a little bitch. And the next thing I know, I'm booted from the group. I'm like, oh, it's like that, okay. And it's funny because I was right in the middle of writing up a little love letter to that group saying, you know, when you guys calm your tits, I might come back, but for right now, peace the fuck out. And I hit enter, and it popped up saying, oh, this page cannot be displayed, yada yada yada. Then I noticed it wasn't in my group list. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I'm just telling you guys what happened. I'm sure most of you don't care, but I was like, yeah, all right, well, fuck you then. And this is the kind of thing that's been going on. You know, people are just. I don't know if it's the guy that created the group or if it's just an admin of the group, because I admin one of the EverQuest Island Adventures groups, and I do have, you know, the power to boot people, but I don't. Even when I don't agree with them, I've gotten arguments with people on EverQuest Online Adventures, and I don't boot them. It's just a dick move. It's just something. If you don't agree with someone, you know, get over it. But hey, whatever. I don't. Like I said, I was about to bounce out anyway. It's just unfortunate, you know. I just wish people would handle it a little bit better. And like I said, I do understand. I've kind of got mixed feelings about it. I do understand why people are flipping out. I get it, but you know, it doesn't do any good. And if you guys remember back, I was kind of champion Pantheon for a while. Rise of the Fallen. Brad McQuaid was working on. He's still working on it, by the way, even though the whole Kickstarter thing just fucking went up in flames. And I still hold the community responsible for that, for the atrocious amount of toxic bullshit that was going on. That video's way back. You guys can check it out. It's in there. Where I ranted about that. Do not blame the creator for this failing, and so many people hated on me for that. It wasn't a popular opinion, just like I'm sure this opinion here isn't going to be popular, but that's the way I feel. So basically what happened with Pantheon was people were just... the guy who was creating it, Brad McQuaid, kind of had like a sordid history, and people were worried about him. You know, he did this, he fucked this up in the past, you know, he gave us a game and he messed it up. So why should we trust him? And it just kept going and going and going for the longest time. And people didn't like the way the Kickstarter was presented. He should have done this differently. And fighting broke out in the Kickstarter page. We didn't have that happen, thankfully. We did have some people try to troll H-Hour. And I actually shut one of them down and got his ass kicked out of there because he kept putting in like... I don't know, I think he was like pledging like $1 million and then pulling it out. Some crazy shit like that. I can't remember. Lone Wolf or whatever his fucking name was. Total douchebag. Anyway, I got him booted. But there was no way I was going to do damage control on Pantheon. You know, everybody was just arguing with everybody. You know, fuck you, this and that, and you don't know what you're talking about, and then they're the elitists. Anyway, to make it a long story short, too late, they totally ruined it. They ruined their own lands, which is an EverQuest saying. And it's true, they did. They totally ruined their chances for getting funded that way. But I kind of see something similar happening here, but I'm thinking hopefully it's far enough along where that doesn't happen. They're already going to get it on access. But still, I ask that everybody keeps calm and doesn't continue to flip out. There's just posts popping up left and right on the SOF forums and the Real SOCOM. The Real SOCOM's always been really cynical. I mean, I like a lot of those guys. Even some of them that are cynical, they make me laugh my balls off like daily. But I don't. I usually don't engage in conversation on the Real SOCOM anymore because it just leads to arguments. Those guys are so fucking jaded. They're like, this is never gonna happen. But I'm still here, you know. I still want to talk about it because I've got nothing better to do. But I do have love for some of the Real SOCOM guys. A couple of them are total douchebags, but, you know, nobody that's running it anyway. But that's neither here nor there. There are always going to be cynical people, and I think for some reason it's like a defense mechanism people put up. They're like, well, if I just act like I don't give a fuck and I don't care, I can't get burned. Because SOCOMers have been burned. Let's face it, it's happened. And we don't want that to happen again. So they kind of put up this wall of badassery where they're like, this is just going to fucking suck. But I'm going to hang around to see if it works out. And if it works out, I'm still going to say it sucks, but I'm going to play it. It's like that. But yeah, people keep an open mind. You know, I think everything's going to be fine. I really do. I think Kevin knows what he's doing. I think David is still going to be very much in touch with everyone. And I don't really see a problem here. You know, I'm concerned about if it's going to make its way to PS4. You know, I know a lot of people are worried about, hey, is this going to make its way to PS4? Because that's what I wanted. And you have to remember when we didn't reach the PS4 tier. They're worried that that's not going to happen because we didn't make it that far. I believe we didn't make it that far. I'd have to go back and check. It's been so freaking long, but I'm pretty sure we didn't make the PS4 where we're guaranteed. I can't fucking remember, guys. But at any rate, if it does well on Steam, which I think it will, at first I was like, I don't know if people are going to embrace this because, you know, it kind of plays to the Counter-Strike people. And at first my thought was, when you were playing SOCOM, if Counter-Strike came out on PS2, would you stop playing SOCOM to play Counter-Strike? And the answer for me, at least, is absolutely fuck no. Because I'm not going to stop playing third-person shooter that I love to go play first-person shooter. So why would Counter-Strikers stop playing a first-person shooter to play a third-person shooter? It's just, you know, and then there's a lot of free games on Steam. So it does have some things going against it. But I think it should do well. As long as they can iron it out and it's not a complete mess when it comes out, it should be fine. And I've been going through the indie titles on PlayStation 4, and there's some really obscure shit on there that, you know, it looks like they had about 10 grand to work with when they made it, and it's still on PS4. So hopefully this will make it to PS4. That's my main concern. I've been saying I'm not really feeling the PC version. First of all, my PC can't run it. I'd have to get a new PC, forget about upgrading, completely new rig. And that'll suck. And I don't really like playing shooters on PC because they're very twitchy. You know, you flick your wrist and boom, headshot. Flick your wrist, boom, another headshot. And then this brings me to another point where I was arguing with someone on H-Hour. There's a lot of arguments going on within the SOCOM community. We're kind of hostile, in case you guys haven't noticed. I usually stay out of that shit, but this one guy is trying to tell me that he can pwn everybody with the controller. It doesn't matter if there's a keyboard and mouse. And it's like, yeah, no. Maybe some people you can kill, but if someone's got equal skill as you, equal, or even slightly less than, they have an inherent advantage over you. I know a lot of people want to use controllers. I know I'm kind of shitting on your parade right now. But keyboard and mouse, they're far superior. You're going to get fucking stomped. If you come into SOCOM or H-Hour, yeah, so if you come into H-Hour with a controller, using analog sticks, which are slower, even by just a second, even less than a second, all I have to do with my little mouse, my little clicky, clickety, click, 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 your fucking head right off. Boom, you're dead. I'm telling you right now, I can just snap to your face and stay on it without any problems. There's no... You know, I don't care how good you think you are with analogs, dude. You're going to get stomped. People are probably going to rage. You know, I'm really good with a controller. I will fuck you up. Now, I used to think the same thing. When I was playing SOCOM 2, I had one of my buddies get it. I'm like, hey, dude, check this. He was a PC elitist. He still is to this day. He's the one who got me into Steam like 4 years ago. He's like, dude, computers are superior. You know, one of those guys. I was stomping him. Like, non-stop. Him and his brother. Remember, him and two of his brothers got in, and it was just me. And I was racking them as a seal on Sujo. They were getting pissed. He's like, dude, if seriously, if this was on computer, I'd just fucking kill you right now. I'm like, no way, man. I'm so good at this. I've got 2,000 some odd hours. I don't even know how many hours I had. This ridiculous amount of hours logged in. I will stomp you with a controller. But I'm here to tell you guys, you're at a disadvantage. You might do well, but you are at a disadvantage if you bring a controller into a PC setting. You know, I like controllers. I like them a lot better. I'm not saying I don't. That's my thing. I like the controller, but keyboard and mouse. And I've even heard people say, well, WASD is not as good as moving with an analog. Yes, it is. It's very precise, and I have a bunch of buttons that are right next to my fingers that I can easily bind anything I want to and configure shit any way I want. I can even go out and get one of those awesome little mouse pad things, or keyboard slash, they're made for like MMO gaming. I don't know what the fuck they're called. I think the first one was Nostromo or something, where it's all tricked out and ready to go. Good game. It's over, But yeah, it's kind of like a side thing, but controllers on PC, it's not a good idea. And that kind of brings me to my next point. I was talking about how many hours I had on SOCOM. Like I said, I don't know. I've got a lot. Like no lifer status, a lot. Somebody was dissing, I can't remember who it was dissing on Kevin Deraspino because they're like, well, he said he's got 1,000 hours. I've got like 3,000 hours. And I'm going to measure my SOCOM dick right now, and mine's bigger, see? Yeah, see? He's like, he doesn't have the right to be making the game because he doesn't have as many hours as you do. Get the fuck over yourself, you know what I mean? 1,000 hours is no small peanuts. Just because you might have 4,000 hours or whatever doesn't mean he's unworthy to develop the game and that it's in bad hands. It's in the wrong hands. Because at any rate, last time I checked, that's a lot of time. 1,000 hours, for fuck's sake. Once you get to a certain point, 500 plus hours or whatever, it doesn't really matter anymore. You're still extremely dedicated. You're just getting up into like no lifer status, which is I'm totally there. I'm not trying to call anybody out and be like, you're a no lifer, because that's how I was. I played SOCOM all the time. People would be like, hey, let's go to no. I'm playing SOCOM. You need to be more social. I am being social. I got a headset. Fucktard, get away from me. But yeah, I was there. I did the same thing. But yeah. Everywhere you turn, there's cynicism surrounding the game. And the people that are making the game. It's not how you support something. Maybe it's just me, but I wouldn't be doing that. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. All I can say is fucking support the game, man. Support the game or shut the fuck up. Just a thought. Just something I was thinking. Maybe you can do the rest of us a favor and just kind of disappear for a little while, so we don't have to deal with your shit. I can't make anybody do anything. If they want to sit there and continue to bitch, that's fine. But don't think for 1 second if you're gonna use a name that I recognize when you get into H hour that I'm not gonna get on the mic and be like, say, aren't you that fucking douchebag that kept shooting his mouth off that this game was going to suck and it wasn't going to work and then yada yada yada? Wasn't that you? But yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say on that. Hopefully we'll have some good news soon and I can roll out some more videos. I thank you guys for watching and I look forward to seeing you in my next one. Peace.